The warning. The stars above the alien fleet were calm, but tension filled the bridge of the scout ship. Captain Threx leaned over the console, his sharp eyes watching the strange signal that played again and again. It was not a distress call, not a trade request, not even a declaration of war. It was only one message, simple but heavy. The voice was human. Deep and cold, it said, "This is Earth's final warning. Enter Terran space and face our wrath." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. Aliens from different species whispered to each other. Some laughed nervously. Others frowned. The message kept repeating, carried across hundreds of channels, echoing through the void like a ghost. One officer, his voice trembling, said, "Captain, it is only a bluff. Humans are weak. They live on a single world. They cannot defend this much territory." But Threx did not answer at once. He listened carefully, noticing the precision of the transmission. The signal was layered, encrypted in ways he had never seen before. Behind the voice, there were strange patterns, almost like hidden codes. Threx finally spoke. "A bluff should sound desperate. This does not sound desperate. This sounds certain." The bridge fell silent. Only the hum of the ship's engines filled the air. Outside, Terran space stretched before them like an endless sea, marked by invisible borders that no alien dared to cross. Until now, far away, in the great halls of the Galactic Council, the warning was also playing. Dozens of alien leaders sat around the glowing chamber, their faces twisted with disbelief. Some mocked the humans, calling them arrogant. Others remembered old whispers, stories of Earth's strange past. One counselor slammed his clawed hand on the table. "Humans dare to threaten the galaxy? We should march on them and break them once and for all." Another, older and wiser, shook his head. "Do not forget the wars of the past. Humans are not like us. They fight until nothing is left. They burn themselves if it means victory." But their voices drowned in argument. Pride and fear clashed in the chamber. No one could agree. Some wanted peace, others wanted conquest. The message from Earth kept repeating in the background, steady and calm. Meanwhile, on the Terran border, Captain Threx made his decision. His people had always believed humans were weak, but he wanted proof. He would be the first to cross the forbidden line. "Prepare the ship," he ordered. His crew hesitated but obeyed. The engines roared louder, the lights dimmed, and slowly, the scout ship crossed into Terran space. For a few moments, nothing happened. The stars looked the same. The blackness stretched endless. The crew began to relax. One of them even laughed. "See, Captain, nothing to fear." But then, the sensors flickered. A strange static filled the ship's communication channels. The lights flickered as if an unseen hand was pulling power away. The crew panicked, shouting. As their controls failed, "Shields down," an officer cried. "Weapons offline." Another screamed. Then the void outside shifted. A shadow appeared, long and sharp. A warship emerged from the darkness, silent, massive, and terrifying. Its surface glowed with lines of red light, weapons charged and ready. It was human, unmistakably. Human! The alien crew froze in horror. They had expected small patrol ships, maybe weak defense drones. But this ship was a monster, far larger than anything they had imagined. A voice filled their ship, deep and merciless, the same voice from the warning. "You were told not to enter Terran space." Captain Threx's throat went dry. He whispered, This is impossible." The warship locked onto them. Systems across the alien ship went completely dark. Their engines died. Their shields vanished. They were at the mercy of Earth. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the human warship cut the transmission. It hovered in silence, watching them. Its message was clear without words. "Leave or be destroyed." Captain Threx looked at his terrified crew. His pride battled with fear. Crossing Terran space had seemed like a challenge now. It felt like a death sentence. He finally gave the order. "Turn us around." The scout ship crawled back toward the border, powerless, shamed. The human warship followed them, silent as a predator escorting prey. Only when they crossed out of Terran space did the human ship vanish again into the void. The warning was real. Earth was not weak. Earth was waiting across the galaxy. Whispers spread quickly. Entire fleets had heard the story of Captain Threx's failure. Some laughed at him, others began to fear, and in the quiet corners of space, more captains began to wonder. What if the humans were truly as dangerous as the warning claimed? The galaxy had been warned, but few understood what they had truly awakened. The first incursion. News of Captain Threx's return spread like fire through the galaxy. His crew had returned shaken, their ship damaged, their pride broken. The Galactic Council laughed at him in public, but in private they whispered, if one human ship could disable an armed vessel so easily, then what else were they hiding? The empires did not want to believe it. Pride was stronger than caution, and so another plan was made. This time, not one ship, but a full strike force. 5 cruisers from the Venar Dominion, sleek and sharp, armed with plasma cannons. Their mission was simple: cross Terran space, map it, and return with proof that Earth's warning was nothing but empty noise. The Venar captain Zorath was young and reckless. He stood tall on the bridge, his eyes glowing with confidence. We will not crawl away like Threx, he boasted. We will show the galaxy that humans cannot hold us back. The fleet slipped forward, their engines humming. Terran space opened before them like a dark sea. Silent, endless. For a time, all seemed calm. No patrols, no defense platforms, only the cold emptiness of the stars. One officer laughed nervously. See? This is all bluff. They try to scare us, but Terran space is unguarded. But as soon as he spoke, the scanners flickered. Strange static crawled across the screens. Zorath's smile faltered. Report, he demanded. Unknown interference. His officer said, it feels like we are being watched. And then, without warning, one of the cruisers vanished, gone in an instant. No explosion, no wreckage, just erased from existence. The fleet shouted in panic. Alarms filled the air. What happened? Where did they go? Before answers could come, another cruiser blinked out. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. The space around them rippled. Shadows moved where no ship should be. From the darkness, something emerged. A shape so vast, it seemed to swallow the stars. A Terran warship, black as night, covered in armor that reflected no light. Its presence was suffocating, its silence worse than any roar. The humans did not hail them, did not warn them again. The ship moved like a predator among prey. Silent, beams of light cut across the void, precise and merciless. Zorath shouted, shields, fire all weapons. Plasma cannons roared, bright streams of energy tearing across space. But the human warship shifted, almost bending the light itself. The blasts missed, every shot wasted. Another Venar cruiser fell, systems shutting down in seconds, dragged into nothingness. The alien crew screamed, their voices echoing through dead comms. Zorath's ship trembled as systems failed. Lights flickered, air recycled slower. It was as if the Terrans were not just fighting ships, but strangling the very life inside. Then finally the human warship spoke. A voice filled the fleet, cold and steady. You were warned, leave, or face extinction. For the first time, Zorath felt fear, true fear. His pride cracked as he realized this was no bluff. Humans had power beyond understanding. He tried to retreat, but retreat was no longer his choice. The Terran warship fired once, a single shot, and his lead cruiser shattered, torn apart like paper in a storm. The last 2 surviving Venar cruisers turned and fled, engines burning at maximum speed. Behind them, the human warship did not follow. It only watched, its silence more terrifying than any chase. Back in the Council, panic rose, first one ship, now an entire fleet erased. The galaxy could no longer laugh. The humans had drawn their line, and anyone who crossed it paid in blood. In the shadows of Terran space, more warships waited, silent and unseen. Humanity was not weak, humanity was hunting. The silent fleet. The galaxy had always been noisy. Trade convoys, war fleets, patrols, and smugglers filled the void with chatter and signals. But now, near Terran space, silence ruled. No ships dared cross the border, not after the fate of Captain Threx and the Venar strike force. Yet silence could not kill pride. The Galactic Council still burned with arrogance. The more they feared, the louder they boasted. Human tricks, one emperor sneered. Cowardly ambushes, nothing more. So the council agreed. If small, fleets could not succeed. They would send something larger, something unstoppable. A combined armada of 3 empires, 60 ships in total, each armed with the latest weapons. This was no test. This was a show of force. The armada moved like a storm through the stars, their engines blazing bright. The galaxy watched as they crossed the Terran border, confident that humans would finally be crushed. At first, all was quiet, too quiet. The alien crews laughed at the silence. "Where are the humans now?" they asked, hiding in fear. But hours passed and the laughter faded. One by one, their ships began to lose contact. The first report was strange. A frigate at the rear of the fleet stopped responding. Its signal blinked once, then vanished. No wreckage, no distress call, only empty silence. Then another and another. A destroyer disappeared mid-sentence, its final words cut off as if swallowed whole. The admiral of the armada demanded answers. His officers scrambled, searching the void for signs of battle, but there was nothing. The fleet slowed, tension filling every corridor. Crews whispered that they were being hunted by ghosts, that the humans had unleashed invisible predators, and then they saw it. Just for a moment. At the edge of their scanners, a flicker, a shadow, a shape that was there and not there. A Terran ship moving with impossible silence. The admiral ordered all ships to fire. Plasma and missiles tore into the void, lighting the darkness with fury. But the shadow was gone, vanishing before a single shot could hit. More ships vanished, swallowed in silence. The armada was shrinking, 60 ships becoming 50, then 40. Panic spread, crews prayed, captains argued. Some wanted to retreat. Others demanded they push forward. The admiral roared, "Hold the line! Humans cannot fight us all!" But even as he spoke, the flagship's lights flickered. Screens went black. The crew screamed as their weapons shut down. The admiral's voice broke as he shouted, "They are inside our systems." For Terran ships did not always fire weapons. Sometimes they hacked. Sometimes they bled into enemy computers like shadows, turning ships into empty shells. One by one, alien warships floated dead, powerless, drifting like broken toys. The Terrans did not always destroy. Sometimes they only erased, leaving nothing but fear. From the darkness, a message came, slow, cold. "Leave Terran space, this is your only warning." But the message was not sent once. It echoed across every alien channel, across every empire. No one could block it. No one could silence it. Every being in the galaxy heard the humans speak. The survivors of the armada fled, limping back across the border out of Terran space. They did not speak of victory. They did not even speak of defeat. They spoke only of silence, the silent fleet. Back in the council chambers, no one laughed anymore, leaders argued. But fear sat heavy in their voices. How could 60 ships vanish without battle, without trace? How could one planet command such terror? Some whispered the truth no one wanted to believe. Humanity had never been weak. Humanity had only been waiting, and in the shadows of Terran space, more warships drifted unseen, silent as the grave. Their weapons ready, their patience endless. The galaxy had thought humans were prey, but now they understood. Earth was the predator. The hidden power, the galaxy had seen fleets vanish, had heard the echo of human warnings, but still, many rulers refused to believe. Pride was their shield, and pride is blinding. The council gathered again, their chamber filled with the hum of voices. The Vanar emperor roared, "It is cowardice, they hide in shadows, they cannot stand in open war." Others nodded, clinging to their arrogance. Yet among them some remembered old records, forgotten histories. An old scholar from the Mirak. Dominion spoke, his voice weak but steady. "You think humans are weak because you see only one world, you forget their past. Their wars were endless. They fought each other for centuries, burning continents, drowning skies in fire. He pulled ancient records onto the table, holograms of mushroom clouds and burning cities. Long before space travel, they built weapons to shatter planets. They called it deterrence, a promise that any attack would bring equal death. The chamber grew silent. For the first time, the Council understood why the Terran warning carried such weight. It was not arrogance. It was history. Meanwhile, far from the Council, within Terran space itself, preparations were complete. Human fleets stirred from hidden stations. Warships, long asleep, woke from silence. Their hulls were black as night, their engines cloaked. Some were so large they blotted out the suns when they passed. The flagship of the Terran Defense Network was one such monster, a supercarrier. Its surface bristled with weapons, railguns that could punch through moons, plasma arrays that could burn cities from orbit. On its hull were etched the words, "No, step further." Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge, his face carved by years of battles. His voice carried across the fleet. "They mock us, they test us, they think we are prey. Let them come, and we will show them what humanity truly is." Across the void, alien spies tried to gather information. They sent cloaked drones, silent, probes. Even their best technology failed. Terran defense networks burned their machines out before they could send back full reports. But a few fragments returned. Images of human fleets stretching into the dark. Ships that should not exist. Ships larger than cities. Weapons older than most empires. These fragments spread like wildfire. Fear consumed the galaxy. For if those images were real, then humanity had been hiding power for centuries. On the edge of Terran space, alien ships gathered again, not to fight, but to watch. Thousands of eyes scanned the border, hoping to see if the stories were true, and then it happened. The stars themselves seemed to dim as the Terran supercarrier emerged. Its massive frame pushed through the void, so vast that smaller ships looked like dust beside it. Alien crews fell silent, staring in disbelief. The supercarrier did not fire. It did not need to. Its presence alone was a declaration. It moved slowly, casting shadows across systems. Every empire watching felt the weight of humanity's warning. Then, a transmission cut across all channels, clear, sharp, undeniable. Admiral Reeves himself appeared, his eyes cold as iron. "We asked for peace, we warned you, you crossed into our space, you took our patience for weakness. Now you will see the truth." The transmission ended, but the meaning was carved into the hearts of every species. The galaxy had demanded proof, and humanity had delivered. Whispers spread like poison. Earth is not weak. Earth is wrath. Some spoke of surrender, others of alliances, but none could shake the image of the Terran supercarrier blocking out the suns. The silent fleet was no longer just rumor. The galaxy had seen the shadow of Earth's hidden power, and the worst part was this: what they saw was only the beginning. The Battle of Terran Space. The galaxy could not stay silent forever. After the supercarrier revealed itself, fear spread, but pride still remained. Some empires whispered surrender, but others demanded war. "If we join together," the Council argued, "we can crush Earth before their power grows too large." And so it began. The greatest coalition fleet in galactic history was formed. Hundreds of ships from 10 empires, battleships, cruisers, carriers, and destroyers. They moved toward Terran space like a wall of fire, their weapons primed, their banners bright, their leaders confident that numbers would succeed where arrogance had failed. Admiral Reeves watched from the command deck of the Terran supercarrier, his eyes sharp, his voice steady. "They come as one, but they will leave as dust." Terran fleets spread out across the border. Black warships emerged from hidden stations. Drones filled the void, AI-guided, faster than thought. Railguns glowed with power, missiles armed, plasma cannons humming. Humanity was ready. The first clash came at the edge of the border. Alien ships opened fire. Plasma beams streaked across. The darkness, missiles swarmed. The void lit up with explosions, but humanity had waited for this moment. Terran defense grids activated. Vast towers hidden on asteroids and moons lit up. Their guns spat fire, shredding enemy missiles before they reached their mark. Human railguns thundered, spears of metal traveling faster than light, piercing alien shields as if they were paper. Single Terran destroyer tore through 3 enemy cruisers in minutes. Its captain grinned, his voice calm. They thought numbers would save them. The coalition fought hard. Thousands of ships pressed forward. But the void itself seemed against them. Human drones swarmed like locusts, slicing into hulls, planting charges, tearing engines apart. Then the Terran supercarrier moved. Its shadow consumed the battlefield. Its railguns fired. Each shot shattered an alien battleship in a single strike. Entire fleets turned their weapons on it, desperate to stop the monster. Plasma storms, missiles, and beams rained down, but the carrier endured. Its armor held. Its shields burned bright. It advanced like a mountain through a storm, unshaken, unstoppable. From its belly, swarms of fighters launched. Thousands of small Terran craft streaked into the void, weaving between enemy ships, tearing them apart piece by piece. The coalition roared in panic, captains screaming as their fleets burned. Still, they pushed forward. Pride demanded it. They believed that if they reached Earth itself, they could end the war. But humanity had prepared even for that. Hidden in Terran space were weapons no one had ever seen. Sun spears, massive satellites capable of turning stars into weapons. Admiral Reeves gave the order, his voice calm. Release the spears. Across the battlefield, beams of energy erupted from the depths of Terran space. Blinding light lanced across systems. An entire enemy formation vaporized in seconds. Ships crumbled. Their hulls melted. Into fire. Alien generals screamed in disbelief. This is not war. This is slaughter. But Reeves only watched, his eyes cold. This is justice. The battle raged for hours, but it was no battle at all. It was a storm, and the coalition was drowning. Hundreds of alien ships burned, thousands of lives lost. The void filled with wreckage, twisted metal floating like corpses. At last, the coalition broke. Captains ordered retreat, their voices desperate. But retreat was chaos. Terran fleets pursued them, merciless and precise. Railguns shredded fleeing ships. Fighters cut down survivors. Humanity gave no quarter. One alien commander shouted, "We must surrender. We must beg for peace." But his words were lost in the fire. His ship was torn apart before he could finish. When the battle ended, the void was quiet again. Terran warships drifted through the wreckage, their weapons still glowing but silent. They had made their point. Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge. His officers cheered, but he did not smile. His voice was calm as he spoke. They thought they could crush us with numbers. Now the galaxy knows Terran space will never fall. Across the galaxy, survivors carried the story. Some limped home with burned ships. Others never returned at all. Entire empires wept. They had lost fleets that took centuries to build. The galaxy had demanded war, humanity had answered. And the answer was wrath. Humanity's wrath. The smoke of battle still hung in the void. Wreckage drifting like bones in a black ocean. The coalition. Fleets were shattered, their proud banners reduced to ash. Yet Earth was not finished. Humanity had held the line, but now the time for warnings was over. Admiral Reeves stood silent on the bridge of the Terran supercarrier. His officers waited, their faces lit by the glow of burning stars. Finally, Reeves spoke, his voice calm and steady. They came for our home. They thought numbers would save them. Now we will show them what humanity does when pushed to the edge. Across Terran space, sealed vaults opened. Weapons long hidden were awakened. Planet crackers, warheads capable of splitting worlds apart. Sun spears, vast beams that could turn stars into weapons of fire. And darker still, the black drones, machines with no pilots guided by old AIs, relentless, merciless. The order went out. Unleash everything. The galaxy trembled. Human fleets no longer held to the border. They surged outward, black warships cutting into enemy territory. One empire after another watched in horror as Terran ships appeared above their colonies. Their cities shook under the roar of railguns. Their skies burned with plasma storms. The survivors of the coalition screamed for mercy, sending messages to Earth. But Reeves gave no reply. Humanity remembered the insults, the laughter, the arrogance, and now they answered with silence and fire. In the Mirak Dominion, whole shipyards burned. Human fighters streaked across the skies, cutting apart defenses. In the Venar Dominion, proud fortresses collapsed under Terran bombardment. Their rulers who had mocked humanity cowered in bunkers as the ground itself cracked beneath the rain. Of weapons, the galaxy had thought Earth was only defending its borders. But now, humanity advanced step by step, claiming systems, crushing resistance. No one could stop them, for they fought not for conquest, but for survival. And in survival, humanity was unmatched. The black drones became a legend of terror. They moved without sound, without mercy. Whole fleets tried to fight them, but the drones never stopped, never retreated. They latched onto enemy hulls and tore them apart piece by piece. Alien soldiers swore the drones screamed as they killed, a sound that broke even the bravest warriors. The Council tried one last time to meet, but it was too late. Messages from their fleets stopped arriving. Worlds fell silent one after another. The galaxy's map, once divided between empires, began to shift. Whole sectors now marked with one name: Terran. Still, Reeves was not drunk with victory. On the bridge, he stared at the stars. His officers whispered that he carried sorrow, not pride. His words were heavy. We warned them, we gave them every chance, now they will remember this wrath for 1,000 years. The galaxy began to speak in whispers. A saying spread in every language: Earth is not weak, Earth is death. Merchants avoided Terran borders. Soldiers prayed never to see the black warships. Entire empires bent their knees, swearing to stay far from Earth's reach. And yet, in the shadows, some wondered, was this only the beginning? Would humanity stop at defense? Or would their wrath carry them to the heart of the galaxy itself? For every empire destroyed, every world burned, Earth sent the same final message: cold, merciless, unchanging. You were warned. And still, the fleets moved, silent, endless. Humanity was not just surviving. Humanity was reshaping the galaxy. The final warning. The galaxy was no longer the same. Once proud empires had been shattered, their fleets broken, their worlds scarred. The stars that once glowed with trade and chatter now burned in silence. Terran silence. Admiral Reeves stood, at the heart of it all, on the bridge of the supercarrier. His face was carved from stone, his eyes heavy with the weight of war. Humanity had won, but victory was not sweet. It was bitter, filled with ash. From the Council worlds came desperate messages. Kings, queens, warlords, and emperors all begged for peace. Their voices cracked with fear. We will obey your law. Just spare what remains. Reeves listened, but he did not smile. He turned to his officers, his voice calm. Prepare the broadcast. Across every channel, across every empire, the humans spoke. Their voice was one, deep and steady. The same message that began it all, but now it carried the weight of fire and blood. This is Earth's final warning. Terran space is forbidden. Any who cross will face extinction. The message spread like thunder, bouncing across the void. Every ship, every station, every colony heard it. No one could silence it. No one could ignore it. The galaxy trembled, for they had seen the wrath. Behind the words, they had watched fleets vanish, planets burn, armies fall. The warning was no bluff. It was law. And yet, even as fear spread, rumors began to grow. Some whispered that humanity was still building, still preparing. Hidden in Terran space were fleets even larger than those revealed. Weapons never seen, darker and deadlier than the sun spears or the black drones. In the council chambers, what remained of the rulers argued in hushed tones. They are preparing for something greater, one said, something beyond us. And, in truth, they were not wrong. Admiral Reeves looked out over the stars, his officers silent. His words carried a secret weight. We have shown them our wrath, but the warning is not for them alone. Deep in Terran space, hidden far beyond the reach of alien eyes, massive stations worked in silence. New weapons, new fleets, new defenses. Humanity was preparing for another enemy, not from this galaxy, but from the dark beyond, but the galaxy did not know this. To them, Earth was the storm. Earth was the terror. And so the galaxy obeyed. Borders shifted, trade routes changed, entire sectors were abandoned. Whole species migrated away from the edges of Terran space, terrified of crossing the line. Years passed. The silence became normal. Children born in alien worlds grew up hearing the warning as if it were a legend. Do not enter Terran space, do not wake the humans. The phrase spread like a prayer, whispered in markets, carved on walls, spoken before sleep. Humanity had become myth, the predator in the dark, the law of the stars. And yet, in secret, among Terrans themselves, there was no celebration. Humanity knew the truth. They had been forced to show their hand, forced to remind the galaxy that their strength was not gone. Reeves knew that the day would come when another threat, far greater than these fractured empires, would arrive. But until then, the galaxy was silent. The humans had drawn their line. The humans had given their warning. On the final day of the war, Reeves spoke one last time. His words echoed across human fleets, calm and steady. We asked for peace. We offered mercy. They chose war. Let this be remembered. Humanity does not start wars. Humanity ends them. The fleets returned to Terran space, but they did not disarm. They remained in silence, waiting, watching. The galaxy kept its distance, fear etched into every star map. And so the tale ended as it began, with one voice across the stars, a warning carved into history. This is Earth's final warning: enter Terran space and face humanity's wrath. The galaxy believed it. The galaxy obeyed it. And the galaxy would never forget it.